Hey there guys, this is Malorian, and this will be another War Machine Battle Report, and I'm back to Caine2, but I'm trying something new again. You know, I've done the Caine2 gun line, I've done the Caine2 double storm wall, and now the next one I want to really try with Caine is this whole just the Caine2 jam. So I've done that with, say, Striker 2 or Haley 2, but I really think that it can work with Caine2 as well. So that's what I'm going to be trying out here. Big thing you'll see that's missing from this list is that I don't have Reinholdt and I don't have the Squire. Now, the Reinholdt part is mainly because I'm going to be pairing this with Siege, and Siege will be having the Reinholdt. Now, why is the Squire not here? Well, because I don't feel I really need that extra focus, and I really like my other little solos I have in this list. But we'll talk about the list after. Meanwhile, on the other side here, we're going to be up against my buddy Jack with his Siege. And this is a new jank thing that he came up with here, where it's going to have 3 grenadiers in it. So, he's going to have a couple of hunters here, so he doesn't have all the grenadiers put together yet, but basically there's going to be the junior running 2 grenadiers, and then he's going to be running a centurion and another grenadier. And the real idea here is that during the feat turn, each of these grenadiers with the trenchers touching them will get 3 shots each. You know, with the feet, everything is halved armor, and these guys are just going to rip things apart, whether they be infantry, be they medium infantry, even if they're heavies, they're going to do a pretty good punch to them. So really interesting to see the way it's going to play out here. In fact, normally if I had my Siege and Caine2 and saw this as a pairing, I don't really think I would drop this Dude Swarm just because it can clear a lot of guys. But then again, it is so many guys, I think I might actually be able to outpace him. But we're going to try it out, see what happens here. So, the scenario we're running here is to 5 points. There is no kill box. You get 1 for controlling the zone, 2 for dominating. You can also go after their flag, but that's pretty hard to do. Meanwhile, if you dominate your own flag, you minus 1 control point for them. So, normally people say that this is a scenario you can't win. I win this one all the time. It's not really that big of a deal. Anyway, what I'm running in my list with this new type of Caine2 swarm is Caine2 running the Minuteman. Then up front, I have 2 units of press gangers, 2 units of rangers, and epic iris. I also have an Alexia and her risen, 2 units of gun mages. Now remember that with Caine2 they get gunfighters, so these guys don't need to stay at range. They can get right in there, be defense 15, and shoot those awesome pistols right there with gunfighter. For solos, I have Terran, I have Gorman, and I also have Rupert. So really kind of playing with those. This is a list that I mean, it's my first time playing it, but as far as, you know, on paper, I've really tried a lot of different versions, and it's about time I start actually play testing these to see how they do. I should have said on his side what he has for his full list is I already talked about what Siege and Junior have. There's also a Squire there. There's also Reinholdt. He's going to be having his trenchers with the UA and a couple of the rockets there. There's going to be Ian and Holt. There's going to be his own Rupert, his own Rangers, and I believe that's everything. Oh, his own Gorman as well. Now, I won initiative, and I wanted, or maybe even he won initiative. I think he won initiative and liked that side. That let me go first, which is awesome. I pretty much always go first if possible. I allocate 1 to the Minuteman, and really everything runs up. Now, one of the things I really love here that I even didn't think of till this game is Blur. I kind of thought like, Blur, I'm probably going to not use it much. And then I realized, wow, putting Blur on those press gangers makes them a good old defense 16. And that's really hard to deal with. And then they have tough after. So that went out. I put True Shot on myself just because why not? Tough, of course, goes on the Alexia and the Risen. And as you see, I am just racing across the board. I do know that I will be taking a lot of losses, but then I'll be using that to make a lot of Risen, which will just take their place. So we'll see if it works out. So on his turn here, he actually does not feat. I mean, he doesn't need it, right? Anything he's hitting is going to kill, but he is going to go and kill a lot of stuff. I can't remember what his activation or allocations rather were. I mean, one went to the Centurion so it could run. He put a few more in the different Grenadiers so they could boost them to hits and things. But really what you can see here is what he got from that is the right press ganger unit decimated down to one model. The left press ganger unit lost, I believe, 4 models, so they really took a big hit, but they're still having a lot of models there. Left Rangers lost 1, right Rangers lost 3, and they failed their command, so that kind of sucks. He also lobbed back. He was trying to actually shoot the Minuteman and then hit Alexia with blast damage. Missed, scattered backwards, killed a couple more Risen. One actually passed its tough, so it's tough back there behind my lines. But otherwise, that's really it. I mean, Gorman goes up, makes a cloud to block that line of sight to Siege, because, I mean, that's the thing I got going with here, too. I mean, sure, I'm missing 2 shots because I don't have the Squire, I don't have Reinholdt, but man, with my feet, I can still do quite a bit of damage and stay relatively safe. Now, of course, I also have to really respect him because pretty much under his feet, 1 hit on Caine means I'm dead. So I'll have to be very careful there. So really, looking for my part, I really just see that he has one model rather in the zone. So I am planning to kill that one model and then just jam the hell out of him. Iris is going to run up there so that nothing can be allocated to, and he should have a really hard time getting back in the zone. So on my turn, I get to make like a bajillion Risen. So they all go up front, and they're going to be getting right up there into his face. I allocated 1 to the Minuteman. I dropped both my upkeeps because I figured out, you know what, with all this stuff jamming, I'm not actually going to be making many shots. So I decided just to drop it so that I can have Blur and then be camping as much as possible. Because really at this point, I felt really good, right? I could start scoring, getting a bunch of points, and probably the way I'm going to lose is by being assassinated. So that's what I did. I mean, pretty much just walk into the zone, put Blur on myself. I don't even think I even took any shots. I just, you know, by that point, everything is already tied up, so it has higher defense, so why bother? But really, the Rangers on the right, they fail me, and they fail their command again. The one green press ganger had to charge, get out of the way. That allowed the Minuteman to move up and then leap up to get right around a lot of his guys, do his little flak field thing and kill off most of the Rangers, and I think a trencher as well. The Risen went in and really tied things up. I think they killed a model too, so hey, that's something cool. Once all those things were done, that allowed Epic Iris to run to where she is. I also made a Bane Thrall on the right with Alexia, so it went in and tried to swing but missed. Otherwise, on the left side, the press gangers really just running up to engage. The Rangers sweeping around the left flank. The gun mages really moving up to be in position. Terran had nothing to do. Rupert put on tough again onto the Risen. And that's really it. So like I said, he is really jammed out of the zone. I'm ready to dominate on his turn, and I'm feeling fantastic. However, he cleared a hole pretty damn quick. One of the things that I didn't really respect is the fact that Siege could just do a ground and pound and kill off tons of those Risen that I threw in the way. Now, they were tough, but I failed every goddamn tough except for the one that doesn't matter because he was off on the side there. So once Siege did that, that was pretty bad. It also opened up a line so that he could go for his feat assassination. He went and took a shot at Caine, but missed. I think he needed a 12. Past that, you know, all the Grenadiers, he tried opening them up. They all tried shooting at Caine and trying to get those 12s, I believe, because he did run a Ranger all the way around to mark me, so did not kill enough of those Rangers, apparently, but he just kept on missing them all. One of the funniest things that happened this turn is that the left Grenadier, that black one, had to take a free strike from a Ranger to get the shot onto Caine, and I actually took out his gun. That Ranger, it's deadly in combat. Otherwise, he was able to kill off a few of my guys, like the last press ganger on the right, and otherwise, I'm actually not feeling that bad. I mean, he did some damage to me. I'm going to be getting a good number of Risen back again next turn. And really, he has now just 2 units in there again. And really, the Centurion, I can't kill it, but I'm going to just use my gun mages to push it out. The one ranger should be super easy to kill, and bam, just like that, I'm going to dominate and really put the pressure on him. I actually wondered if I should go for assassination, but then again, Gorman puts up that cloud, so that's not going to really work. I would also really like to kill Junior, because that would then shut down two of his grenadiers, but at this point I don't think it's really necessary. I have so much stuff in his face that'll be hard for him to not be engaged, and his feet is already gone, so I can really just kind of be more prioritizing staying alive. And another thing too is that because there's so many grenadier shots that are having to scatter and all the rest of the things, he is also really going down on time. So I'm looking at scenario and a death clock victory so far. So this turn, really, the wheels fell right off. First of all, I'm going to say I cheated and allocated one to the Minuteman, so that was not allowed, because actually Epic Iris stops me from allocating to my own jacks too, so a little bit of a cheat there. Otherwise, I upkeep Blur on myself. Rupert is going to put Tough on the Risen. I made my little Risen up there as well to try and gum things up. The Rangers on the right finally pass their command test, and then I get to business, and the gun mages move up. I'm all set up so I can just push that Centurion out of the zone. I need double ones to miss, and I roll the freaking double ones. So I couldn't believe it. That meant that all the gun mages, because I mean, I just assumed that he's going to be pushed out, all the other gun mages aimed, and now they're at the wrong angle to push the Centurion out. So that really now took some time off me, because whereas I was hoping for scenario and death clock as a possible win vector, now it's really more hoping for death clock, because scenario is going to be a lot tougher, because I'm going to be missing out on this turn of scoring. So otherwise, the gun mages on the right do a lot of work, kill a lot of trenchers. I really do some good shots with the Rangers on the left. They kill both Reinholdt and the Squire, so that's really going to take a lot of punch out of Siege's threat. Otherwise, the cheaty little Minuteman hops over, does a flak field, kills a couple of guys he could have killed anyway for trenchers, and then takes his shots at Junior. And maybe it's good then that I missed both those shots. Even though I was shooting in the back, I missed both of those shots. So that's not so bad. I mean, he should have been farther back. Cheaty me, slap on my hand. Otherwise, really, it's just gumming things up. I mean, at this point here, I was kind of on tilt because I just couldn't believe that thing failed, but I'm still feeling good because of the clock situation. So on his turn, he opens up a lane again. Basically what happens is the Centurion moves to the side, and what that actually allows is for Siege to aim at Caine. And that was just like, wow, I am not being careful whatsoever. I just assume there's so many dudes and I have Blur on myself, I can do whatever I want. Well, what happens here is he actually... what does he do? No, he hit me last turn. During the feat, he actually deviated and already did 5 damage to me. So I was like, wow, if he hits me here, I'm toast. Luckily, he misses that 12 again. And really, he kills a little bit more stuff around. Nothing too serious. Most of it being Risen. And now it's just like, okay, his clock is really, really low. I definitely just need to push this guy out and just live. That's all I'm thinking about. I don't want to kill him. I don't want to focus on any plan other than going for that scenario and staying alive. And priority to staying alive, because his clock is like 3 minutes at this point. So he's wondering why I don't just go for the caster kill or something, but I'm just playing it safe. A lot of times, I'm not even making attacks. So I had the gun mages go up. They go and push that Centurion out. I get my Risen into his face, especially the ones I raised. I just put right into the Siege. The Rangers are just running up to engage things. The gun mages clearing things up on the right. I had like 3 lines of rows of dudes blocking him from Caine, so that should keep me alive. Tough is on Alexia again. I'm fully camped, other than the one I used to upkeep Blur, and I'm going to score 2 points here, but I'm really counting my blessings for him not rolling a 12, more than he probably should being boosted. And on his turn, he starts to roll a couple of dice, but then the clock goes, and that's it. So, whew! So a win for Caine. Really, I do really like the list. I think the list has a lot of potential. I thought about for a while if maybe I should drop the Minuteman and something else to get in 2 Sentinels, to get in some Shield Guard, but I don't think I really need that. I think I just need to play a little bit more carefully, realize that Caine is the weakness to the list. That's what people will be trying to kill, and be more careful to block that line of sight. As well, some of the things I thought of is I didn't really miss the squire. One of the things I noticed here is that I didn't really shoot much with Caine at all. So what I might want to start thinking of is using him more to be giving gunfighter to the gun mages and to be pulling out some key models with magic bullets. So one of the things I failed to say is during the game, he killed my Gorman with just like a stray deviation. I also killed his Gorman with a magic bullet, and I think that's what I should be focusing on. In fact, I think I should be taking out my Gorman to be putting in Hawk, and then Hawk will allow me to charge through, kill some more important models, and as well make sure that my Pressgangers won't be failing their command tests. But either way, hopefully you guys like these kind of different styled lists. Any suggestions you'd make on either side, please make the comment, and we'll catch you later. Bye.